Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another morning, a snowy morning where I am of the LifeWire Lifeline. We are going to continue our conversation. Last week we talked about love. We're going to talk about self-love on today. So happy Monday. Thank you for joining us. So I have a question for you that I really want you to think about. How do you know that you love yourself? So just think about that. Like, what does that look like? What actions do you take to show yourself? Like, truly, how do you know? It's something to think about. So keep that question in mind as we move forward. I definitely want to highlight first for you that loving yourself is not selfish. Often, when I work with clients, I hear that phrase, that loving them, they feel like that is a selfish act. Loving yourself is super important. It's actually the foundation to help support you and your ability to love others. Because I know I want to love others effectively. I want it to be healthy as well. So loving yourself is not selfish whatsoever. But we also have to understand that there's a balance. There's definitely a balance with that. I don't know if you ever met someone who is like far extreme on one side versus the other. There definitely has to be a healthy balance when we're talking about self love. And I like to compare it to, I'm pretty sure you may have heard the analogy where it talks about if you're on a airplane, you want to put on your oxygen first. If something goes wrong, put on your oxygen first before you can even think about helping someone else. So I want to look at love in that manner. It's important to take care of yourself and love yourself first, you know, and then that'll start translating in the way that you love others as well. And you can even look at it as how we approach relationships. We don't want to be in a position where we're loving someone from a broken place within us. But we want to present a whole and a healthy person. We want to love someone from those places and position ourselves to add value and not toxicity, whether this is a friendship or any type of relationship. That's important. But these are important factors. And loving someone from broken places within you is giving broken fragments of yourself to someone. And so that makes me think about infants. You know, as a little baby, we depend on our parents, our mother and our father, to nurture us, to show us what does it mean to be loved, what does it mean to be cared for, and all of those things. You know, and if you think about it, when an infant is not getting those things, what are the after effects of that? That is detrimental to growth and development of that child. So that's how important this love component is. And as we grow up and mature into adults, though there are still like broken things within us that haven't been addressed. There are foundational things and behaviors that we have learned about love that are ineffective, that are toxic. So it is definitely important to reevaluate where you are, you know, being mindful of that. And some people do, it is important to seek treatment if that's what's needed, talking to a therapist who can actually walk you through that and help you identify that, because these are behaviors we have to unlearn. Especially you think about, I'm 33, you know, years and years of your life you've been learning something that has created this distorted depiction of what love is, and it turns out, hey, this piece isn't healthy. It isn't healthy. So that's also important to do. And there's no shame in that. None of us are perfect in any right. Um, I also want to say that we have to think about love as it's not necessarily like a constant state. It is something we just ongoingly have to work towards. We have to practice it and put effort into it. There are some days I don't I don't want to do certain things for myself that I know I need to do, but I push past it, put forth the effort anyway. And just because you have those days of I don't want to do anything for myself, or have those low days, that does not mean you don't love yourself. That means you're human. That simply means you are human. You will definitely have those days. Again, self love definitely takes effort, it takes consistency. Again, it's a balance. It's definitely a balance. Again, you have those normal periods of feeling better about yourself, where your confidence will be high, where your self esteem is good. But again, there are those times where it's not balanced, and that's normal. Um, Self love is very therapeutic, very therapeutic, very therapeutic. I actually want to touch on the lack of self love and what that creates in our lives. It just creates a space for our negative thoughts to have life. Essentially, we start believing those negative things as truths. Like, for example, some statements could be, no one loves me, I'm not good enough. And I just keep it, and I can just keep replaying that thing and accepting it as my truth. And we do that. Sometimes we unconsciously do those things. And we find ourselves in this space of over catastrophizing or over generalizing a thing, saying, well, oh, I'll never, I'm not good enough to do this or that. Those play into that mindset. It plays into our perception of things, and it's distorted. It's distorted. So I really like CBT techniques. It's a therapeutic approach to addressing our thinking, because we know that all of this is connected. It's all connected. How we think is connected to what we do, to what we say. All of it is connected. So we'll talk about that as well. Um, so cognitively, this is the foundation that we begin to uh, lay. And so, yes, the goal is we want to lay healthy foundations in life, but we know just the reality sometimes that we create these foundations of lies. Like I said, foundations that are not true, they're distorted, but we believe them as truth. And so, cognitively, there is a relationship between beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. So, beliefs, thoughts, and feelings, they're all connected. They're all connected. And what comes behind beliefs, thoughts, and feelings are our actions, what we do, what we do. So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm at work and a customer is going off on me, losing it, customer service, going off on me. In that moment, where my thinking is really matters, because I can respond out of a lens of, oh, she don't know who she talking to. And I can respond in a negative manner and going off on that person. Or if my lens is somewhere else, I'm looking at it from a perspective of, wow, this lady is having a really difficult day today. I don't want to add to that. So I'm going to give her space to say what she needs to say and then assist her. So that's two very different responses to the same scenario that's in front of us. That's what I mean by our perspective, how we think, how I think about that situation is then how I'm going to act out or respond to it. Um, Same thing with love. If I have all of these negative thoughts about myself, of feeling unworthy and not good enough, that is going to play out in my actions. It's going to cause me to neglect myself in certain areas. And even there are some, I work with some people who they put so much emphasis on supporting someone else and loving someone else intentionally because they didn't want to focus on themselves. That's also a form of neglect of self, of self. So self love is truly, truly important. Again, your perspective directly influences how you respond to specific situations. In other words, your thought process informs your behaviors and actions. So we all know that love is not just a word that we say. Just like just like you want someone to show yourself. It's an action word as well. What are you being intentional about when it comes to self love? Think about that. What are you doing? What steps are you taking to be intentional to show yourself love? And if nothing quickly comes to mind, think about what it is that you need to do differently in that scenario. What could you do this week that could contribute to showing yourself self-love? Because we all need that. Take care of you. That is so important. So important. And so as we going back to the just that negative belief system, as we get caught in that and start believing that, those core beliefs, they can get stronger and stronger and more challenging to break, and we start making um dysfunctional assumptions based off something that wasn't even true from the beginning. And sometimes we don't even know it's not true because we have taken that thing and made it fact for us. We started believing we're unworthy, we're not worthy of love, and things of that nature. And again, there's no shame whatsoever in walking alongside a professional who can help walk through that with you, because sometimes we are so close to the situation that we can't even see, like, hey. And so I see the question of, how do you balance loving yourself but hating the flesh? We have to, one, understand we do things that are unhealthy. We're going to do things that are unhealthy. You know, that is a reality. We have to start where we can of loving ourselves. So, what is it, if it's something specific that we're hating that we're doing about our flesh or behavior, what can we do to work on changing that? Is that something we can change? What supports do I need to change that thing that I hate, that I'm saying that I dislike about myself? It really depends on what that thing is, but that's something that could definitely be explored, because there will be certain things about yourself, certain behaviors, certain things that you do just on a regular basis that you don't like. Right? And some of us even use the word like, I hate this about myself. I don't like this. And so we kind of allow ourselves to stick into that vicious cycle. But there is a way to come out of that. So I really encourage walking alongside a professional who can help you walk through that thing. Because again, sometimes we're just too close to see it. We may lack insight into what it actually is as well. And again, other things that kind of come out of that, um, self references. For example, people always focus attention on me, especially when I fail. That's all that, we get into that self loathing, selective abstract, our thinking, like only my failures matter. I'm measured by my own failure, so we just really start to overgeneralize and take on all of that responsibility that's not even ours to take on. Another one of them is that excessive responsibility. We take it on as ours, and it's not really ours to take on. So really, our goal is to unlearn some of those behaviors, unlearn some of those negative reactions, those negative thoughts that we have taken as truths, and learn new ones when it comes to love. You know, um, just because we grew up a certain way and we were taught a certain thing by how we saw our family love and the things that they've done, that does not mean that was right. And that's just across the board. Sometimes we have to unlearn some things that we've learned and accepted as truths when it comes to self-love. And I would say, like, hey, start off small. This is not something that changes overnight. It's something that builds. Start off small. Commit to, even if it's twice a week, I'm going to make sure I do something intentional that's connected to self love for me. Be intentional about that, and just be consistent there. Be consistent there for a while. Okay. And then maybe add on 3 days and be consistent there. This is a gradual thing, because again, you're talking about years of learned ineffective things that were instilled in us, probably, or that we picked up along the way. It doesn't necessarily have to be things you learned from your family. Maybe it was something you picked up from peers. We learn stuff from friends all the time, or um, just things you picked up along the way. It could be anything, but I really encourage you all to be intentional. It's Monday. Be intentional this week. Pick 2 days where you're going to do something for yourself and commit to it. And let me tell you something. Even if you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway. Because sometimes love is doing things when you don't feel like it. That is factual. You're not going to always feel like it. You're not. That's just the reality of it. But be intentional. Be intentional. And slowly, like I said, add on each week, each week, each week. Because this is a growing process. Next week, I'm not going to wake up and be perfect. I'm not going to wake up and just arrive and be there. This is an ongoing, growing process. And what's going to happen when we start being intentional in terms of the way that we love ourselves? You'll start to see changes in how you love and the compassion that you have for other people. So that doesn't mean that that thing you don't like about yourself is going to go away overnight. But be intentional. That's what I encourage you to do on this week. I thank you all for joining the LifeWire Lifeline on today. Connect with us again next week. As we'll be continuing our conversation about love. If you have any questions, our information is posted. You can always send them in as well, and we can hopefully add them to the next LifeWire Lifeline as we give out more information and more tidbits next week. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Hi, my name is Lorraine McKay, and I am proud to serve as the founder and president of the Refresh Institute, also known as Refresh Global. Although 2020 has been an extremely difficult year for us all, we want to stop and take the time to thank all of you, yes, you, all of our team members, all of our directors, our volunteers, our global community partners, our board of directors, and of course you. Yes, you who's listening to this video right now. We want to thank you for allowing us to have the greatest privilege of them all to serve you and your families during this troubling year. We have found a greater purpose in providing refreshing solutions for all that we've come in contact with, both near and far. And we are anticipating serving more families and communities, not only just within the United States of America, but also in the United Kingdom in the year 2021 and beyond. With that being said, we are so excited about presenting another opportunity for you to make a refreshing difference in our world right now, today, in partnership with us. On Giving Tuesday, which is December 1st, 2020, we are launching our big Refresh Global Pledge campaign, and we need your help. In 2021, Refresh Global is stepping out of the box. We're stepping up our game by expanding our service projects within the US and the UK. We are providing and hosting even more community outreach and wellness service projects through our LifeWire department and our Refresh Life outreach section. We are empowering our youth even the more with greater virtual educational and mentorship support through our Refresh Kids. And we're growing in education through our dual creative arts academies. It's time that we kick it up a notch, and we're excited about partnering with you to make this happen and change lives all around the world. We invite you to click the link that's attached to this video to make your pledge campaign of $10 or more between December 1st and January 31st. It is our goal to raise $10,000 towards providing refreshing solutions to those in whom we serve and beyond. Make your pledge and stand with us today to refresh the world one encounter at a time. Every commitment counts. Every commitment is valued, and we want you to know that. The Refresh Institute, Inc. is a recognized 501c3 nonprofit organization, and all contributions and donations are tax deductible. And so if you want to learn more about our programming and our services and all that we have to offer in 2021 and beyond, we invite you to go visit our website at www.refreshglobalnfp.org. You know, together we can continue to refresh the world. We're praying for you and we love you. And we can't wait to partner with you to keep refreshing the world one encounter at a time.